Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be touching up on the wish list guide, I guess, for August. We didn't do one for July because we didn't end up getting the update for the wishes until August, right? Until obviously Anissa and them dropped. So that's why we didn't do a updated one for July. Before Masked and Nero, they were limited. They don't go to wish list. It kind of just makes sense. So obviously now we have a free to play account, so this is going to be more interesting for me to do because I'm doing it based on one, not even having that many characters, as you guys can see, and then two, also what's just going to be best for my account in general. Now, before we get into the video, make sure you guys subscribe. Let's try to get 30 likes on this video, and remember, don't follow your dreams, follow my Twitter. Another thing is, I just want to make a disclaimer. If you are obviously under the 160 wall, so for the people who do not know what the 160 wall is, right? When your characters get to level 160, you need to have 5 SSRs that are of 3 stars. So you need to have 5 SSRs that have 3 stars to pass that level, right? So if you're under the 160 wall, I recommend that your wishes are just contained of characters that you already own, so you can just guaranteed get dupes for them to pass the 160 wall, right? But then when you pass the 160 wall, that's when obviously you can put whatever you want here, right? But that's what we're going to be talking about, best value and stuff like that. So we're going to go from the Elysion all the way down to Tetraline. Yeah, so obviously in the game, I think what you want endgame are characters who are going to be usable, right? Are quite good endgame. So obviously I would say the best options for like endgame for the Elysion Tower is obviously going to be Miranda, right? Again, Miranda is the only burst 1 Elysion character in the game with a 20-second cooldown. So when it comes to the tower, you're going to need to have this character because there's no other burst 1 20-second cooldown for the Elysion class. So Miranda's automatically going to be one of your best picks for your Elysion thing. But if you don't care for that, then obviously you can remove her. I think she's still good overall, but right, her main fate for being on the wish list here is just for the tower, right? Another good pickup is obviously D, right? D is going to be one of the best characters for interception bosses, especially since she does handle a lot of them quite well, right? She tackles Blacksmith, Blacksmith, Chatterbox, Train, and Modernity. That's 4 out of 5 bosses that she's fantastic on. So literally D is going to be one of the best picks for SI interceptions, right? And the fact that this character is going on wish list, or like even allowed to be on wishes of how good she is when it comes to those SI bosses is quite insane to me. So another good option would be D. Now this is where it becomes more hard because it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for DPS, Guillotine is probably your best bet, but I would highly recommend if you're going for Guillotine, you might as well go for Masked as well. Masked is obviously the newest character that's not a limited or a pilgrim that is quite good, right? She's a crit based support, or a crit damage supporter for the team. She does fantastically well with Guillotine and with Scarlet, so she's just overall a good pick for that second option, or not a second option, for that burst 2 option. But obviously there are better burst 2s in the game. This character is just going to be a very good one for the Elysion Tower, again, since she is a Elysion character and Guillotine is also one, and literally Guillotine's best partner in the game is most likely Masked right now, because how Masked can just lower Guillotine's HP instantly. So you could have Masked there if you want that crit damage support. If you don't, then you don't need her. Guillotine if you want damage. If you don't, then you don't need her. You could rock Soline, but the problem with Soline for me is the simple fact that Soline needs a healer, right? Because the moment she loses 1 HP, she's out the running. So there's that. Helm is always another good pick. She's quite useful everywhere, right? She has her usage. Obviously her supporting and healing mechanics are going to be very, very good everywhere basically. So Helm is like a pick you can guarantee put here. I would say right now what I'm looking at, maybe Miranda, D, and Helm are probably good picks. Emma's a fantastic pick as well, especially if you're running PvP or if you like PvP and doing PvP. This is a great character to have for SP Arena and even your main team, right? She is one of the best healers, if not the best healer when it comes to PvP, especially because of how like machine guns and stuff work like that, and how she basically just hits when everybody's lashing out bullets at her, right? And she's healing the entire team. It's quite insane. So Emma's also a good pick, but it really comes down to what you're looking for, right? I would say a standard would be obviously these three, just because of how much value they have regardless, right? Obviously it only burst one with a 20-second cooldown, the best character out of all the Elysions for all the or at least 4 out of 5 of the interception bosses, and then Helm is just a great general support. Privity is also a fantastic character, but you already have her. If you want dupes, by all means. But Privity is a character that doesn't really rely on dupes, right? She's just a character you need to have. Dupes is just going to increase your CP, so that's the only reason why I'm not talking about Privity too much. Alright, these other characters will benefit from dupes. Privity is not really going to benefit much from dupes, so I mean, she's an attacker at the end of the day, so I guess more damage like any other character, but you just want her for her skills, right? Her skills don't require any type of stats increase. But yeah, I would say, if you want me to be honest, maybe your wishes should be like this. I think obviously these two together is a great option. I think this is probably going to be... Actually, this might be a perfection of a team for your Elysion Tower, just these 5 right here. So yeah, I spent a lot of time on Elysion. Let me go to WISHLIST. Now, WISHLIST, right? Obviously, when it comes to WISHLIST, this one is a lot easier because they have some of the best characters in the game. Obviously, Litter, if you do not own Litter, is a fantastic character. Probably best burst one in the game. I know a lot of people say Dorothy, a lot of people say Litter, but she is arguably the best burst one in the game. Senti is also another great option for a burst 2. Best burst 2 in the game, maybe, maybe not. Probably. If we're talking like her versus one character without Noir, then sure. But if we are, then yeah. But Senti's also a very good option. You could run Maxwell. She is a boss killer and an attack supporter, so that's very, very nice. Another good option in terms of PvP is Jackal. She's actually like the best PvP character in the game. So if you do want to run PvP, Jackal is your best choice. Reload speed teams. I think especially if you're running Scarlet and you're summoning for this new Summer Anise and Privity, you have enough reload on top of the cube, right? Admi's still a good choice, but I feel like there's just... Now, especially with all these characters and the reload cube, there's just too much reload happening, so she's not really that necessary for electric comps especially, but overall she's still a fantastic pick. Laplace is also a pretty good pick, but I would probably say, if you want my honest opinion, your wishlist would probably look something like this. Right, I think these characters will benefit your account the most. Drake is a nice burst 3 option for that third burst 3 slot, or just sub DPS and shotgun comp. Jackal is fantastic for PvP if you're into that. Maxwell is a great boss killer slash attack buff supporter. Senti is the best burst 2 in the game, arguably, and she has a fantastic shield that could protect you in most content. And then Litter is just a must-have character, right? She's the best burst 1 in the game. And then for the Tetra line of burst 3, obviously first things you want to do, no question, if you do not have these two, Blanc and Noir, arguably when they're together, they're top 3. If you consider both of them together, they're top 3, right? Alice is another great option for just DPS, right? She is the hardest hitting character in the game that is not a pilgrim. Well, maybe that might have changed. I don't think so, but maybe that might have changed for some people with Anise. I doubt it, but there's that. Obviously, Dala and Rupee are fantastic burst 2 attack buffer options. So if you need a burst 2 attack buffer, that's where Rupee and Dala come in. Would recommend Dala over Rupee, of course, but that's just my opinion. And then Nero is also a new character, but the problem with her is that you need Rapunzel with her. She is a nice pickup, but I would only recommend to put her on your wishlist if you have Rapunzel and if you plan on using Nero and Rapunzel over like your Blanc and Noir, right? But Blanc Noir should guarantee be here. Alice and Dolly should guarantee be here. Your last slot could be a pick, swap around, or a swap between Sugar, Rupee. Novel is a great option for bosses, right? The massive damage taken buff to the one boss when she's fully stacked on her skill 2 here. That's another good option. But again, Blanc also have that same effect, just slightly less, but it's to all enemies. So maybe you don't need her as much anymore. Maybe you don't need Nava as much anymore, but you could still put her there, right? But I'd probably recommend your last slot to be, in terms of general value, Rupee might be your best option, or Sugar, but I think this is probably your best bet for the Tetra line. So honestly, I would say if you want a wish list, this is probably going to be best for your end game. Especially that Elysion one. These are like the characters that you're going to need for the tower. I honestly don't think you're going to get that far if you don't have those like characters with the tower for Elysion. For Missilist, these are all more of just the supports and the best for PvP, hence why Jackal is there. But yeah, I would recommend you have those characters there. If you have Litter, you can go for dupes of her, but again, Litter and Senti are characters who don't really need dupes. So if you already have them, I don't think I mentioned it for them, but if you already have Litter, if you already have where's the other two? Oh, if you already have Litter, if you already have Senti, then you don't really need dupes for them, but there's not many options here, so you might as well just go for dupes for them. Or of course, if you don't have any characters and you want to collect all the characters, you can just put any character that says not owned. But I think these are the best characters for the wish list. You guys let me know what you think. It's gonna be your boy Zxous, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, let's try to get 30 likes, and don't follow your dreams, follow my Twitter.